are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire youth wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, John Paul Leck.
Together we are Raw Break. How's every single one of you, family? It is Tuesday. It is time to talk about NXT Halloween Havoc. It was a show that, it's spooky now. When in that week, on Sunday is going to be Halloween. So we get all this, spooky vibes, all this, stuff that, people love. It's the second year that they run Halloween Havoc. So we wanted to see something. We wanted to see changes, and they did it all the way up to, the NXT Championship match. But I think that, NXT is giving us, a proof of what the new brand is going to look like and what's the new vision and where the brand is going to go.
Yeah, and we'll talk about each match and everything, as it gets. But it's you like you said, a lot of these titles changed hands, but none of them went really, to the new people. A lot of them, it's not like like the Bron Breakers, spoiler or anything, but it's like all the belts, most of them went to already established people that we know. So I would say the championship matches, the tag match, I can never get into Lumberjacks, but championship match is great. The rest of this show, and, I shouldn't say great, but the rest of the show, not so much. To me, last year's was better, but, they got to make do with what they have, I guess.
And if you think about it, also, they said in the WWE calendar, they're not going to have a takeover till the next year. So this is probably going to be the last kind of show, a big show. Maybe they will have something in between on Tuesdays and something, but they're not going to have a takeover per se. Maybe later on they could confirm something. You never know with WWE, but as of the now, this was the last show when it comes to big show in NXT. So we'll see 2.0. But like you said, thank you so very much for being with us. By the way, thank you for supporting AEW Dynamite video with Jean Paul. Also, Inbound for Glory, Impact, Moose, all of that stuff exactly. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, help us out to keep growing. And family, let's start it by saying that Chucky was the main the host or one of the guesses of this Halloween Havoc. Is because why Chucky they have a show on USA Network, and is for me, once you touch something that is not from the original, you just try to make money out of something that people love, like an iconic character like Chucky. I don't know, I don't care for this a new show. I stick to the third movie probably, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather have Chucky than some of the other hosts we saw. But I was okay with this. The history with Rick Steiner, Chucky when he appeared on what was that? I assume Halloween.
It was a Halloween Havoc, yeah.
Yeah, so there's that little history. I mean, so that was okay. But no, again, I understand you got to promote because you're on the same network that follows NXT. But can we just have wrestling on a wrestling show?
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's a point that I would love to stress. That's something that I like.
That's not Chucky. Well, Chucky's not the worst offender of that. Believe me.
No. Chucky's just, he's they drag him into this nonsense. But let's talk about the first match, and that's for the NXT Women's Championship, and that of course always stars Io Shirai against Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, Indy Hartwell, and Persia Pirotta. It was it's a ladder match. It was good at times, but again, a lot of spots they missed. There was a lot of botches. It felt a little too cluttered at moments, and you will think that these girls, especially Indy Hartwell, Persia, Gigi, JC, probably they've never been in a ladder match before, so that showed. They had a lot of issues, but also scary spots. But go ahead.
To comment on that, I'm pretty sure they said on commentary the only one who's ever been in a ladder match, and I assume they mean, I guess their whole career, unless they just mean WWE, I don't know, but regardless, they said was Io Shirai.
Yes.
They said none of these other women run ladder matches. So, like you said, it was probably a little bit something scary for them. And, maybe that goes to the thing, should the women, be in these kind of brutal matches, and not being sexist about it, just, stating a fact. Maybe they shouldn't, or get more experience before getting in a big match like this where you're going to want to, impress and go out there and do a good job. But no, lots of spots. You saw Zoe Stark, she went to go do almost a 450 or some kind of, splash off the top. And she
didn't even hit it.
Landed on her ankle and kind of just fell forward, and you feel bad. That probably hurt like hell.
Yes.
And Io got sent, from the ladder, fell down through another bridge ladder, and I'm sure Io's in a lot of pain. Remember last time she took a big spot, and she was in that War Games. She was out for how long? So
yes,
I don't really know what's it.
Right here, you can see also she did the moonsault onto the ladder, and I agree with you. They need more preparation for this type of matches. Like you said, have women. I'm not completely against it that the women should have this match. matches, but like I said, more preparation. It should be more prepared with women that know what they're doing in this type of, ladder matches. For example, like, don't you think that this spot, like, it was a really scary spot? She did land it bad.
That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, I'm sure she's definitely feeling that. And the thing is, do one or two of these, big spots. There was 5, 6 spots. I'm sure there's some we're forgetting that took place in this match, and it's like, why do you need to have all of them? Because we're not going to remember, but your body will remember the next day when you can barely get out of bed.
Or the next day or the next months. Yeah, you're agree.
It's not worth it. But at the end of this thing, because we said, like, it's a clusterfuck. The right team won for me. Zoe Stark, Io Shirai, they're great, but they should be singles competitors, not a tag team. Indy Hartwell and her friend, I could care less about them. But, you want to get over toxic attraction. Like we said, sex sells. They have the look. They're in the stable that they're really getting over. And, they're not bad wrestlers. They're not Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, or Becky Lynch. But, they're not bad. So, I say put the belts on them. And it's not like the belts were great on Io and Zoe anyway. So.
That's another thing. Remember, those titles started out with the wrong foot. So, like, now at least, hey, you can, like, give them a direction. This guy, you have girls that, like, need it. And like you said, if you're going to give me this attraction, like lethal attraction, or they're going to just...
Toxic attraction.
Toxic attraction, lethal attraction. If you're going to give me these girls, if you're going to establish them, consolidate them in, like, a good staple, you need the belts. So you said that, and hey, Io, Zoe, wherever they're gonna go, at least they don't need to be together. They tried. It was a forced effort. It didn't come to fruition. It's fine. This is also like the part that, like, you'd get me away from, like, the willingness of, like, watching this show, because it was Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis. All of a sudden they're best friends, and now, and remember what happened with Carmelo and Trick. Like, they had this interaction, so you see that Johnny Gargano is aiming at the United States Championship one more time. Oh, not the United States, the North American Championship, my bad, Paul. Like, they're eyeing at that, so I don't know. I don't like this type of things.
Might as well, and, I'm just going to run us through all these right now. Hope you don't mind, because this is worse than Chucky. To me, this is worse than Chucky, because you have, like you said, Trick and Carmelo. They're, trying to reclaim the North American Championship that was stolen. They're like, oh, Gargano, he has it. And they go to Dexter Loomis's house, but it's like in a haunted forest, a haunted house. They see all these creatures. And we said Loomis was cool when he was like the serial killer, like Dexter, like from the from the TV show Dexter. It's like, he's a creepy serial killer vibe. It was good. Now they made it completely jumped the ship and made him like a horror villain, but like a goofy one. And, again, this is just so bad. They scare him away. And like you
it's
said,
very similar to what we did, remember, last year with like Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, so this was stupid, and these segments went on for what felt like forever. So
yes, exactly. So, like, it's not good. It might as well don't even have them. That's the thing, is like, it takes it away. We watch this because we want to watch professional wrestling. That's the one thing. It's a sport. We want to, like, have that fun mentality, the vibe that is a sport.
The one thing I would love NXT to do is to go to 1 hour and just give us like the Bron breaker, give us all the championships, and maybe, the championship feuds, maybe not every week, but have them on. And then, just have like the other main event guys, and just a lot of this goofy shit needs to go.
Yeah, this needs to go, because again, the ratings are showing it. The show is going to keep sinking. Probably this will pick up a little bit, but not it's not going to be like 1 million or anything. They were never able to do that, even with Adam Cole, even with all the main guys. Without them, not even. Don't even dream, like, wake up. And then, like, just wake up from that, like, dream that you're having, because it's not going to happen. Especially when you have Joe Gacy. I mean, the guy is probably a decent wrestler, but you give him a character that absolutely sucks. It's impossible to go over with a character like this. So confusing, so complex, like, it's not even entertaining. And that's the main thing. So, he had a match against, an enhancement talent. He had a match last week also. And, of course he won. And that's fine. But, like, the hell of, like, Harlan right there. And you see, that's the guy that's supposed to be the next Brock Lesnar. Like, they changed his name. They changed his gimmick. And like you said, all of a sudden now, they're trying to have an alliance with him. He's trying to recruit him to be one of, like, his, like, disciples, I believe. That's kind of like the type of the cult that he's selling, right?
Yeah, and again, this is one thing I really... If you would have brought this guy in and he would have been why didn't they bring him in, have him, be like, oh, he's a wrestler, he's this, he's that, he could have been part of Diamond Mine. I don't know, this is just so bad. I can't get into it. I really can't. I wanted to see what this guy could do. They were hyping him up, not Gacy, the other guy, and I can't get
well, especially when you present him in such a shitty way. You're saying this is the next Brock Lesnar, and you show him, like, you debut the guy.
you might as well give him an orange jumpsuit and call them, a screw instead of nails.
Oh, nails, yeah, exactly. Like so very similar to that. So it's impossible to get behind these things. I mean, they have them, like you said, they have 2 hours, they have to fill with whatever. But I mean, Gacy, it's not working, family. No, it's not. The answer, no, thumbs down. Something that I have forgotten, it was that kind of KLDA. We were so high on him. We will have episodes. One of our greatest episodes come out of thanks to KLDA. I forgot that she was on NXT 2.0. This is how bad WWE can make you forget about somebody. It's not my fault. It's not Jean Paul's. It's their fault. Because they're not portraying her. They're not showing her on TV. And she had a good promo though, complaining about all of this. So I'm pretty sure you got excited about this. Because finally Kaylee Ray is going to show up and going to be like, okay, this is my division now. But I don't know if she fits in the current agenda. I don't know if there's a spot for her in this NXT 2.0.
She could be a good. She is a good credible challenger if they want to use her that way. I wouldn't even be upset if she would be NXT Women's Champion, but I don't know. Like you said, maybe it's her thing back on the main roster. And again, I wouldn't even be upset if 2-3 months from now she's back in NXT UK. I wouldn't be upset with that. But good promo here. She said, "I'm the longest reigning women's champion in the last 60 years." And just like you said, complaining about all this stuff. And we're gonna see hopefully a new intensity from her. Like I said, I would make her a new #1 contender sooner than later.
Right away, and get the title because whoever. Well, we're going to talk about the women's championship match in just a little bit, but of course they had the parties, all the superstars. We had all the members from the new NXT 2.0 roster. Cameron Grimes trying to get girls. That is also a big issue. That the fact that they make this guy look so clownish, they make him they're not even a joke. Worse than a joke, they make fun of him in the promo in himself. So I don't like this. This guy had the opportunity with all the hype that he had from Teddy Diaz in the $1 Million Championship, but no, one more time, jobbed out.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing funny about this is he's an astronaut, and he always says to the moon. That's the only thing that I can find humor in. But no, these segments suck. Like I said, this was the worst one. You see, Icky Man and Kushida and all.
Kushida even feels like shit now.
Yeah, I mean, you see all these people at this thing. This is, to me, was the worst offender of this, and the Gargano segments were the worst offender of all. Like I said, I'd rather have seen Chucky, throughout.
I'd rather see an episode of I'd rather see Chucky 3. When the army and all of that stuff. I don't mind that. At least the deaths was legit. All of that was felt serious. Not not this shit. Yeah, no, I don't want to see that. Anyway, so let's go to Diamond Mine Paul, because at least they are probably the most serious thing in this show. And at least they feel different. They feel like a group unity, all of that. So they said they're gonna have a challenge. And Odyssey Jones comes out. Is did Michael even said what I think he said? Because he's not even your ass. It's 205.
No, he's like, I mean this with the utmost disrespect. He's like, but your big ass is nowhere near 205. And then Odyssey Jones is like, yeah, I'm a little bit over, a little bit, and but because he wanted Roderick Strong, but Malcolm was nervous because he's like, this guy's twice the size of Roderick, and he's just like, well, the title's not on the line. So they had a match. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. And, Diamond Mine, they kind of, did a little distraction here or there and all this stuff, interference, which causes, Roderick Strong to get the win. But, and I think that's good, because I was really thinking, oh, man, the title's not on the line. Roderick's going to lose. That was actually my thought. But, I'm glad that wasn't the case. And, where Odyssey Jones is, he's one of those guys where they're using him good, but it's almost similar to kind of how Keith Lee, when he first came into NXT, we see this guy and we're like, oh shit, he's badass, and he has good matches, but he loses, but the crowd still likes him, and I'm still a fan of him. So, but this was the right winner. Obviously, you don't want Roderick Strong to lose.
To look weak, exactly. So there you go. And moving on, that they cut a promo. We have Imperium because they're gonna have the NXT Championship match, Tag Team Championship match with MSK, and they know English, so I don't understand why they're cutting the promo in German and in Italian. I don't understand that.
That to me was it was cool, but it was also confusing, because it's not it would be different if that's how these guys debuted, where they talked in their own language, and then all of a sudden they start cutting a promo in English or something. Why are you going backwards? So
when you clearly know that English is okay, I'm going to talk in Italian, I'm going to talk in in German. Okay, why? Remember Apollo, he had to drop. We mentioned in this show, we said it in this show, the accent sounds bullshit. Okay, no, where's Apollo Crews now? Same thing. I just didn't like that, but they said the same shtick. Oh, the match is sacred, all of that, whatever. Yeah, it's good. Look what's happened to Kyle O'Reilly. Say 2 months, Adam Cole, like, the worst thing that could happen to Kyle O'Reilly is like Adam Cole to leave his side. Now he's with Wagner, and I don't know. What am I seeing, like a movie from like the 70s, Starsky and Hutch? I don't know what it is, what this shit is, but like, again, like you said, this kind of segments kill, and they actually kill more characters than what it intended to. I don't think you purposely try to kill anybody, but these two, come on. You go.
I mean, but the one thing I will say is I think you're looking at the next tag team champions. After with what we saw tonight, I think moving forward these will be the next ones they put the belt on. But yeah, I really don't. These guys they had I don't want to say legit, but last week they had they were training. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
let's be legit, and they're in the woods, they're working out, they're doing all this stuff. So you think, okay, and then we see this. I mean, again, they just took everybody who was in these goofy Halloween segments. Their credibility was like, not saying it was this high, but it went down. Like their credibility.
Exactly. It's like I'm trying to get one step further. And one step forward.
Who you didn't see in these segments? People like a Tommaso Ciampa, a Bron Breakker. They weren't going to be. I mean, now they had a match, but they weren't going to be a part of this.
I think I saw Elektra Lopez. I might be wrong, but I think I saw her. But I didn't see Santos Escobar. I didn't see the other members of Legado del Fantasma, at least. Because that would have been the worst. Especially if we put in a mariachi, whatever. No, it would have been killer. No, but at least, like you said, seriousness when it comes to this is absolutely terrible. So let's move on to like the women's championship match, NXT UK, NXT, NXT championship match, and Mandy Rose against Raquel Gonzalez, and this was also like spin the wheel. So that was okay. I like what they did. I like what I saw from Mandy because she's not the greatest wrestler in the world, but she tried her hardest this time. I could see the effort. You could sense it. And Raquel is not also like a great ring general, but like they had a pretty decent match, way better than the ladder match. Like in all these tag teams. So I like that. And Mandy looked better. Like it's probably the best match that I've seen Mandy Rose in.
Yeah, I mean, this was good, and you got to give Mandy Rose credit because everybody, when they first saw her, like, oh, but is she a Sable? Like one of those, like, oh, Eva Marie, like, oh, yeah. I'm hot, and that's the, you never saw any of those women get speared through a table, or you get all this, brutal stuff that we saw, Mandy Rose do. So you got to give her credit for that. Like you said, I agree. Not the greatest wrestler, but when you keep trying and you keep getting better, and you can clearly tell she's a fan and she likes what she's doing, because you wouldn't just be in here for the money and change your character and be into it and take all this damage if you didn't enjoy what you're doing. So
exactly,
you got to give her props for that. I did like the spot where she had her in the chair. That was like inventive, where she had her trapped in the chair with the kendo stick, and then kicked her, tried to pin her, and then they're like, "Oh, it's not false count anywhere." And she's like, "What the fuck?" And she's like screaming at the ref, like, "Screw you!"
The only thing on that pole is like, "Bitch, don't you see don't you see right there? Like, are you right seeing right the painful or submission might occur in the ring?" Like,
well, I mean, that was on the screen. Do you think she's reading the screen when
I'm like, yo, girl, like, come on, but you said good stuff. Yeah, I
like this. Then later on, you saw Raquel. She speared her through the.
I like this also, like a little bit of Jason, or like I like Casey Jones, for example. A little bit of Masked Man, but like you saw that, like there was a big spear on top, like the table, and then we saw, like, remember, like there were promos, and they said there was going to be somebody coming back to NXT, and that was somebody. You said it was a girl. You confirmed. Your sources told you it wasn't going to be a girl. So right there, I thought it was Elias. It wasn't her. But she helps out. She hit Raquel in the ass. It was clearly in the ass, right, Paul? It was clearly in the ass.
It looked like the upper. To me, actually, it looked like the upper back. So I don't know.
No, for me, it looked like clearly in the ass. With like, what was it, like a shovel?
Where the eyes are looking for everybody here on rope break. But she whacked her with the shovel. She was, oh my God, I'm done. Mandy Rose, big knee strike, better than Omega. 1, 2, 3. She pins Raquel Gonzalez. New women's champion, Toxic Attraction. They're draped in gold, and that to me is the right choice. And then it's like, well, what do you do with Raquel Gonzalez? Well, we already know she's going to feud again with Dakota Kai. Do we really want to see it? No, but is it interesting now? Because now maybe only because it was a way for me to get the title onto Mandy Rose. So I'll give it a pass, because realistically, you would think Raquel, should have beat Mandy Rose, but I don't know. I think Raquel's getting called up sooner rather than later, but we just got to wait and see.
Exactly. And also, like we're mentioning is like they have Dakota Kai as a free agent. There's a few free agents. They remember in the whole draft. Brock Lesnar is one of them. Dakota Kai, Asuka, Bayley. So like they said that like Dakota Kai was gonna go back to NXT, so I'm like, okay, that's her. Then Asuka's gonna stay on Raw. The only ones that I kind of don't really have a show is Bailey and Brock Lesnar. They don't really have a particular show. Asuka will go back to like Raw, so this was good. And I, like you said, it's like good for Mandy Rose. And you said it from the moment that like Toxic Attraction showed up, it was you said they need gold. There you go. This picture speaks volumes. Why? Because that's how you say this is a credible stable right now. This is our group. This is the way. This is our direction right now. And I like it. Like you said, sex sells. The girls, I mean, Gigi knows how to wrestle. Mandy's getting better. JC is also decent. So there you go. You have a group, and this you can run this for like at least the entirety of 2021. Okay, maybe 2022 you can start doing some little things here, but at least it's fresh and it's different. I like this.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way. You needed to do something new with the women's tag titles were completely irrelevant. Nobody even knew they existed. Yeah, stale. And Raquel, she had a nice little run, but I think she's gonna have this feud with Dakota, and I think she's got to get called up.
She's gonna get. Yeah, she needs. It's done. Is everything that like she wanted to do there. Thank you. Coming down to the main roster. We'll see what happens with her. Let's talk about a little bit of like to me, LA Knight, another character is dead. Absolutely dead. Every single week you try to like job him. You just try to like dig that hole and put him like further and further down. I don't like that. And he had this thing about like we get to see the debut. It was said that like this guy that happens to be the Usos older brother, and his name is like Solo Sikoa. He debuts on like NXT, and I mean he looks like everybody was just chanting Uso, Uso, Uso. He took care of like Weller, and he didn't do anything to LA Knight, but you can see right there he's the newest addition of NXT, and I mean he's an Uso, so he's part of the Rikishi family. He's a Samoan, so he probably knows how to wrestle decent. He probably does the super kick. He probably does the Samoan drop. So it will be interesting to see what is going to be his role in this show.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have the other guy who's all tattooed, who's like was walking in with the women the other week, and you have this other guy, who wears the mask, who's from maybe it's Singapore, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So you have all these guys that are like kind of the same thing, and I don't remember any of their names, and I'm not trying to be mean. Hopefully I do in the future, but right now I don't care about any of them.
Yeah, because you show them 1 week and that's it. And then they disappear. So then you need continuity. You need to give at least a promo or something. So I saw this guy next week. Because again, it's going to happen with Kaylee Day. I didn't remember. I didn't remember that.
Debut one of them. Get one of them over. Get a couple wins. Oh, I'm the baddest, fighter. Blah blah blah. Nobody can beat me. This other guy comes in. Oh, I'm a street fighter. I won all these fights, blah blah blah, this and that, and then don't introduce them all at once, and I don't know who the hell they are.
Yes, exactly. So I agree with you on that. But let's go to like the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Like we said, MSK against Imperium, and another spin the wheel. It turned out to be, like you said, lumberjack match. And unfortunately, with lumberjack match, is more like to just showcase everybody. You get the whole roster out. You just have like cluster fogs on the outside. You need to send them on the outside because then is when the lumberjacks can actually do something. So in the end, the good thing.
Look at this. This is the worst part of it all. A lumberjack match. I mean, to me, they're always stupid. But it's like if you would have sent the guys out legit, like just in their street clothes or in their wrestling gear, whatever. But they all came out and they were all in costume, or most of them were, except like you said, the serious ones, Diamond Mine, they weren't, but the other ones were, and it's just, I mean, this is so stupid. Like, look at this. And the whole time, this is all commentary talks about, I think Kushida and them, or they're dressed up like Diamond Mine. And can we talk about the match?
Yeah, that's another one.
So
yes.
Stupid. And again, like everything else, how can you care and how can you get into it?
Yes, but in the end, at least positive. There's always a positive in this, and we have another title switch. Finally, MSK, and I'm just saying, their run has been really shitty. Nobody cares about them. Nobody, they're a good tag team. Yes, nobody's denying that. Nobody's saying they're not. But do we are we behind the guys? No, I don't care. I was actually rooting for Imperium. I'm actually happy that they won.
The MSK experiment was a complete and utter failure.
Yes,
I don't know if it was their fault. If it was the booking, I really don't know, as in their fault as in MSK's or the booking of NXT. I don't know. but it did not catch on. I don't think anybody's upset that they lost the belts besides
Exactly.
them.
So like,
Besides them, I think they're the only ones.
exactly. I'm not, and hopefully that's the end of these guys because I don't care for them. I'm sorry, but in that one, I gotta like give applause. A lot of praise to Trey Miguel. He stayed on Impact. He had a shitty year on Impact because no really like good feuds for him. Like always mid card, mid card or lower. But now at least he's the new X Division champion, so it paid off that he stayed. Now he's serious. You see like more muscle, tattoos, all of that. Instead of these guys, there you go. I don't want to see them. I don't care for them. So there you go, Paul. Let's go to the main event, and that's, of course, Tommaso Ciampa defending against Bron Breakker for the NXT Championship. Everybody in the whole entire world will say that Bron Breakker was becoming champion today, just because of the fact that there was that was going to be the new direction. Tommaso Ciampa is the past, Bron Breakker is the future. Even Pat Paul said, no, you know what? No, Juanzo, it's not the guy that's going to go. I have faith in Tommaso Ciampa. I have faith in God of War. And he's going to be legit. And in the end, Tommaso Ciampa pulls, I don't want to say an upset, but okay, he defended the title, with all the legitimacy in the world.
Yeah, this match was the one I was looking forward to, and this was great. Ciampa, you got to, see, at least his is in his entrance gear, but he's not coming out dressed as a banana or Elvis Presley or Dracula or some kind of bullshit. He comes out, and he looks badass, he looks legit. And this was good. Breakker, we knew Ciampa was gonna bring him to a good match, and he was. They kicked out of each other's stuff. There was the intensity. This was good. A lot of people, like you had said, oh man, there's no way like Bron Breakker's gonna win. What do they do with Ciampa? How long is Ciampa's contract? Is he gonna get called up? Is he gonna just sit at home until he's released? They gonna just make him. What's he gonna do? Because Ciampa, like I said, he's not gonna do the goofy shit. He's not going to put on a costume and dance. He's not going to do none of that. He's going to be serious. And I think they go, you know what? We'll give in. We'll at least have our main guy, our champion, be serious. And, we'll continue that forward. And, they're booking it the way, like I said, you had to. Where it's like, Breakker, he came this close. He came an inch, a nut hair away from winning the belt. But he couldn't do it. And you tell that story where he goes, Ciampa, you know what? I was this close. Next time I face you, it's mine. And you tell that story. You have Breakker earn his way back. Because to me, they gave it to him too soon, the championship match. But, I guess I wanted to see what this kid could do. I'm glad Ciampa won. I like this match. Really, the only thing, if you wanted to just see serious, legit stuff, the only thing really of note to watch was this. But, I would say last year, Halloween Havoc, even though it wasn't the best, you got to say it was better than this year.
It was way better, yes. I mean, for me, the two things that I have to reiterate the Ciampa thing with you. Yes, he's the champion. He at least brings legitimacy to the brand. We all know what Tommaso Ciampa, character-wise and wrestler-wise, can do. Those are two big things. And, toxic attraction. At least you're establishing this girl to give the opportunity to Mandy. And she's hot. Okay, you gotta get it for what it is. She's hot, but at least she can wrestle better. This match proves that. And also Gigi and also Jay-Z, it's fine. We have at least something to look forward to on Tuesdays. So family, this is what we have as Halloween Havoc. Thank you so very much to every single one of you for supporting us, for every single thing that they do in social media waves. John Paul is going to tell you where everything is. And, we'll be back tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. Yeah, AEW is coming back to Wednesday. So where else can they find us, Paul?
And guys, make sure you follow us on all of our social media. Rope Break on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok. And of course, right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...